Hello everyone! Welcome back. It is Wednesday. Welcome to the channel. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. And tonight we have our Zweihander, the Long Retreat campaign. Excuse me. We're gonna go around, let everybody introduce themselves, say who they are playing, all of that good stuff, and then let get into all of the good things. I will be playing the wonderful Nethra Fusefire, our dwarven artillerist, she, her, and I found something really cool in the woods, and I wants it, and I'm gonna has it. And then directly below me, right now, the only part that you can see is the top of. Oh, hi, Billy. How yous?
Good. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Uh, yeah, I'm Bill slash Billy, whatever. You feel like if you like one syllable, I got it. You like two syllables, also got it. Um, I'm playing Remsaw, he him, who is our recently uh jailbroked. What's the can I get a correct jailbroken? He just
Broken.
recently got out of prison. And with this fantastic crew of trained and experienced military veterans, as a newer folk is having a time. And he's excited to hear about the thing that Nethra found, because I, as a player, wasn't here when that happened. But I heard about it. So I'm excited to role play it. Yeah, excited to get this thing going. Woo woo.
All right, then. Next up would be Laura. Hi, Laura. How you doing? How's life going for you?
Well, I'm doing okay. Happy to be here. This is definitely the highlight of the week. So that's fun. I will be playing Gisela Haberman. Both of us use she, her pronouns. She is the godsworn battle priest of Sigmar. So excited to fight this chaos demon in the tree.
Yeah, that. We also
I'm
have
sure
that.
it'll be fine. It has 2 heads, maybe, and like 3 heads, and extra eyes, and it. I'm sure this isn't above our power level at all.
Look, we can blow it up. It's fine. I have faith in us. I also have faith that Gisela will make Aldar very angry. Right, Pope?
I don't know. I think there's going to be very specific priorities, because that that sounds like a chaos spawn, and those are a problem, like all caps problem. Because they're very unpredictable, except for one thing. They're terribly lethal. Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on Twitch. I'm looking at all your streams, and today I get to be back with this Zweihander crew playing Aldar, both of us using him pronouns, and there's a lot of concern.
Concern. All right. Well, the individual who is causing concern, I guess, encouraging concern, there are lots of things. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm great. I don't know what I'm really excited for this chaos creature. I don't know what you guys are on about. I am very excited to be back at this game, and my prediction is violence and pain. I feel like you can count on a chaos spawn for those two things. I'm not confirming chaos spawn, but most creatures of chaos, you can count on violence and or pain. I'm Tom. I'm the GM for tonight. Very excited to be running with this wonderful crew. And let's hop back into it, as we had been traversing the Drackwald for a couple of days. The party had been making their way through the woods, picking their way having a little bit of time to bond, to recoup after escaping the road. They had shaken the undead pursuit that was out on the road from them. You defeated a band of young up-and-coming vampires, as it were, that pursued you into the woods. You found a place to hide. Gisela's Sigmar love continued, or Sigmar's love for Gisela, as it were, continued. And you have shaken the flyers, and you delved deep into the Drockwald, and found a valley in which you discovered an abandoned tank. That, as best as one of you can guess, I forget who made the roll. I think it was Aldar, or was it Nethra?
Aldar.
And a incursion into the woods about 15 years ago, when a massive Grendel horde kind of came out of the woods. Chaos infused beast folk coming from the very inner parts of the forest, and they were turned back by the forces of the Imperium, and a counterstroke was launched into the woods. And it appears that this vehicle was left there during that. Nethra got a slight glance at it. It appeared to be in somewhat passable condition, considering it's been there for around a decade plus, when from above, the drip, drip, drip of saliva drew Nethra's eyes upward, and she saw this horrific beast, a binding almost of creatures, as like cords of flesh seeming to tie almost these creatures together, wings of two different patterns emerging from it. I believe the avian head was the most visible to you when at first, but as you look up at it, a almost reptilian head almost seems to like force its way past, snarling at you, as it is the source of the saliva drip. And Nethra, since it's just you and this creature, we're going to do a little quick draw roll to see who acts first, as the two of you are going to get to go, and then we're going to work everybody else into the initiative order between this. So I need you to roll initiative, and I'm pretty sure you're going to win, but we'll find out.
I rolled really low. It's only a
what did you roll?
19.
Huh?
I rolled low. It was only a 19.
I rolled a 17, so you still got me.
Yeah.
So we're going to go, you rolled a 19?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to make a note of that. I want everyone else, while we're doing this, please roll your initiative and send it to me in the chat so I can form a more complete initiative thing. Wow. Nethra, you are going to get to your weapon before this creature can fully act. What are you doing?
I'm going to shoot it in the face.
All right. No, that sounds about appropriate. But it is it's slightly above you. We're gonna call you engaged without making it like right up in your face.
Okay.
So you may still shoot it by all means. Shoot it.
Cool. I gets to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any penalties, and it doesn't matter because this is what Nethra does. So that is a 55 under a 61. I'm really close to failing, but a crit.
So a crit success though. I mean, it couldn't dodge already because it was a gunpowder weapon.
Yeah.
But, So go ahead and roll damage.
6.
In any single game, I've had more exploding dice in one game of this campaign than I have in
3.
every other game I've played of Zweihander combined.
12 and 3 is 15, and then plus 5 is 20.
Okay. You drop it 1 level.
Yay!
I'm
all
right.
Saving my last 2 AP if I need to. I'm gonna. No, actually, I'm going to take cover with 1.
Okay.
And then save 1.
All right.
Ducking behind the gun mount.
Yeah. You go to duck behind like the tank as you were standing right there. You go to maneuver yourself, the tank. This creature is going to drop from the tree almost directly down towards where you were.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to move towards you in a way that I'm going to give you an opportunity attack as it moves around the tank towards you. So it's spending an AP of movement as it has it can move 16 yards in one turn. So I'm thinking it's got plenty to move around the tank and find you, but I'm going to give you the benefit of cover by you get an opportunity attack as it comes around. So if you would like, you can for free AP, you may for a free AP, you may roll a regular melee attack.
Melee?
Yeah. Unless you have a special thing that allows you to take ranged attacks as opportunity attacks.
I thought I did. No.
Not discounting that, just you gotta
No, I don't have it yet.
Okay.
That's the other thing.
Alright.
A melee attack. Well, this will be fun because she's just gonna swing up the end of the rifle and shoot it, and goes to swing up the end of the rifle and is going to miss because I rolled an 85 over a 41.
Ooh. As this creature bears down at you, there's the avian head, there's the lizard-like head, and they seem to be, they're not harmonious. They are actively like shoving and kind of trying to push each other out of the way in like a visceral need to harm or impart its suffering onto others. A lion-like head lunges forward from under the two and snaps at you.
Cool. I has that dodge I saved.
Okay, I rolled a 16 under a 75. So you're gonna need 5 success levels to successfully dodge this.
Okay, and that's coordination.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually good at that. Hold on, I am actually really good at that. I'm dropping dice. So that's 2.
A 2 under what?
A 63.
63. 6 success levels will be enough. As you manage to like roll out of the way, and this leaves a dent in the side of the tank, as it would have done a lot of damage.
Don't harm my tank! I likes this! She's like
three of you
rolling
all see
underneath the tank to get away.
The 3 of you see this creature drop down. We are now going to enter normal initiative as Nethra is going to get to act because the initiative order shook out as Nethra the creature and then the rest of you. So Nethra, you get to act again with this thing having basically pinned you against the tank, but having missed you. The creature will get to go, and then the rest of you will get to go ham on this thing.
Cool. Don't. No, that's not gonna work. I was gonna try something. That's not gonna. Okay. I'm going to try and do it. Unless, can I make a ranged attack, or am I too close for that?
You could make a ranged attack with a weapon with a pistol quality in melee. Because now it is too close. This thing is right in your face.
Is the repeating crossbow? No, none of them
Now,
have
the dueling pistol that you had would qualify.
I
but
don't.
think
We don't
that
have
way.
it. We gave them
Yeah.
away. All right. Well, in that case, it's gonna be a melee attack. I'm gonna do something entirely stupid, and try. To do a takedown.
Oh no. Okay. So
Going to try.
all right. So you may roll me. Hold on. I don't have my action list.
I
up for
can make a coordination test.
Yep. Make a coordination test. And then.
Yeah. And if it succeeds, I get against their resist coordination.
Yeah, I pass over the GM rolls for this. I bypass.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try this coordination test, which I can do coordination.
Mm-hmm.
And I roll a 3 under a 6. I was like, had to stop and look at that. A 3 under a 62, a 63.
So what do you do to trip up this 4-legged winged creature?
I think it's because she swung the rifle around, like she tried to strike out with it, and then she dropped down to roll underneath the
Ooh. Does it get like I'm down for it to get like stuck under the tank for half a second?
It's like it gets stuck under the tank, and she's just gonna like knock out with the back end of the rifle to kind of knock out the paw that was kind of trying to get underneath there to kind of drop it further, like take out the knee kind of thing.
I very much like that. Very Monster Kombat-y, like you went into a tight space and then got it like stuck momentarily.
Yeah. Ooh, and I get an extra fury die on this.
You get an extra fury die when if you hit it, you get an extra fury die. All right. It is you just hit a takedown on it on your turn. You may now roll if you want your attack.
Yeah.
And I normally give a +20 on the melee attack for right after you successfully take a creature down.
Okay, so this is very close, and I thank you for that. The additional 20 because it's a 44 under a 61.
There you go.
It would have been under a 41, but that extra 20 was really useful.
All right, roll damage. You get 2d6. It only explodes on 6s this time. No, 1s don't explode because it's not gunpowder.
I know. I'm counting.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were indicating 1. My bad.
No. I'm counting the 2 different dice. I rolled a 2 and a 6.
All right.
And then a 4. 12.
12 does not exceed its first threshold.
I didn't think it did.
Yeah. So that's 2 AP. I'm assuming you're saving your last one.
Oh yeah.
I'm
saving the last
one. This creature is going to spend a movement AP to like writhe and rip itself out from under this tank, and it's going to lash out at you with a tail that you did not see. A barbed stinger comes flicking at you.
Cool.
22, which is a crit success, which means you cannot dodge or parry.
Okay, well that sucks.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna make sure I don't have the spike tail has all right. I mean, yeah. At some point I was eventually going to crit on something. The law of large numbers just dictated at some point it would happen. Hold on, I'm looking for one quick tag word because it has powerful, and I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. Powerful, immediately after striking an engaged foe. Oh, I can shove you with this. I can push you out of engagement if I choose. Okay. I don't think it's going to choose to do that, but we'll see. All right. Okay. That is going to do 16 damage.
I'm glad I am no longer injured. Because that will take me below my first threshold to my second.
All right. And will you please roll me 1d6 as this tail strikes you?
3.
Okay, you're fine.
Okay, so that takes me to lightly wounded or moderately wounded? Lightly wounded.
Yeah. If it only exceeds the first one, it takes you to lightly wounded. It is going to roll real quick an intimidate test as it's going to let out a primal roar towards everyone in the group.
Okay.
That is going to be a 27. So its litany of hatred succeeds. You may all roll resolve to resist.
Okay.
You are all rolling a flat resolve test as this is going to be instilling fear on you.
22 under a 37. I'll take it. I don't like this. I really don't like this, Aldar.
21 under 68.
All right, we're good. Gisela, I know it is pro forma roll, as even if we exceeded, even if you fail the resolve test, there's no way we exceed your peril threshold on this.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I think I did fail with an 85 over a 75. I just had to figure out my resolve went up, so I had to like make sure.
Oh man, that's such a burden. Roll me 2d10 plus 2, and then tell me how much Gisela doesn't care. Remshaw,
91 over 51.
roll me 2d10 plus 2.
2d10 plus 2.
Yeah. You're muted, Laura.
Thank you. I rolled an 18 plus 2 is 20, which is enough to bypass her first and second peril threshold. So Gisela has taken 1 level of peril.
It finally happened, y'all. All right, so this thing wriggles free under the tank. The tail flicks out and like almost pins Nethra to the tank as it like strikes you so hard it knocks you back. As it turns and all 3 heads facing the rest of you just let out this primal just as like all 3 add their own little spin to it. The fear takes effect, as well as all your damage thresholds are reduced by 1 for the rest of this battle, as it does litany of hatred and fear. All right.
I got a 20.
20. How much are you? What's your peril threshold?
Which level? So it's 7, 13, 19, and 25.
Okay, so you would drop 2. You would be imperiled, which means you ignore 1 dot on any skill for a little bit.
Okay. What if I was already imperiled?
Then you would go down. Then you would ignore 2 dots.
Well, were you still imperiled? Because we'd had a couple days in between.
Yeah, we had the 1 safe rest that would have addressed that, because Gisela created that one. Oh no, you didn't create a safe cave?
Well,
Aldar
this
created
is
the safe room in the salt circle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that would qualify as a safe rest. So you would
Okay.
have shaken that. So you would be at -1. You would ignore any skill you have 1 dot in, you effectively have no dots in. Any skill you have 2 dots in for right now, you have effectively 1 dot in.
okay.
Because your character be shook. All right.
Mhm.
So this creature has roared at all of you. It is quite fierce. Nethra got hit pretty hard. Gisela, you are up. A creature of chaos embodied stands in front of you.
How far away from me is it?
I would say if you wanted, look, it's probably like an easy single AP move action away.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out action economy here. In which case, she will start with chaos overturned to give herself the extra AP, hopefully. Which I succeed with an 8.
Sigmar loves you.
All right, so I have the extra AP.
Alright.
I was gonna do something else, but seeing the creature so close to Nethra, she's instead going to run up and hit it with her hammer. 4. Ooh, that's close. Okay, that does barely make it. So, is that a 68 under 70? So, does make it.
Roll me damage.
Yeah. All right. That explodes a 6.
Mm.
And another 6.
It's about time Laura got it on the exploding damage.
It really is. And a 5. So 2 6s and a 5.
17.
17. Plus, I took Gatecrasher, so now I get to add 3 to it, plus my combat bonus, so plus 9. So 17 plus 9 is
26.
26.
All right, that's gonna drop it another. That is enough to drop it 2 levels.
Okay. Does it appear to be taking this damage even though the it appears to be taking the damage.
Yes, it does.
Okay, and because I'm using my Warhammer, that is a powerful weapon, and on a successful hit, I can make it resist being pushed. She's going to try to knock it away from Nethra so that she can get in between the creature and Nethra.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. It needs to resist it's going to resist with athletics. So let me roll that. Athletics, it's looking for a 70.
Does this matter that the power technically says powerful technically says reduce toughness, or is it a pick?
Oh, toughness. If it says toughness, then toughness is a toughness is a 75 for this creature. I rolled a 15. So it digs its claws in, its wings spread out, and it holds its ground.
Declassification.
Okay, that's fine.
As the heads now are writhing, like you see as you strike it, you clearly cause a great deal of pain. One of the legs kind of crumples for a second, and like the lionid head and the reptilian head have a brief like confrontation between the two of them after you strike them, while the avian head stays locked on Gisela. It is now Aldar's turn.
Can I charge it?
Yes, you may.
I'm going to charge it. Okay. That is 17 under a 71. Right.
Was that for your attack?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Roll me that. You get 2d6 with the charge.
3 and a 6. 6.
Oh no.
6.
Oh no.
3.
3.
3 6s is 18.
20.
6 is 24. And then my base damage is 10 with the mortuary, so 34.
34. I'm going to find a thing that can last one round of combat with y'all. But it's not yet today, apparently.
Oh, good.
Because my goodness.
That hurt.
Again, in this one combat, we've had more exploding dice than in literally entire campaigns of Zweihander I've had combined. Aldar, what do you do? And Bremshaw, I'm very sorry yet again. You sit at the bottom of the initiative and watch everyone else fight.
It is just a screaming charge. As Gisela has at least the avian head's attention. And it is just a rush up and swing as one of its legs just comes clean off.
Mm-hmm. I would like to, if you're okay with this, Pope, you take the leg off, which actually, well played, as that is actually one of the listed, if you take an aim shot, it's actually a weak point on this creature. It stumbles and falls to the ground. It's quite large. It is very badly hurt. It cannot escape as the rest of you close in. And it takes probably a minute or two as the creature thrashes quite badly. But you all are able to end its obviously miserable existence without incident or it striking back. As the creature begins to lie still, you all kind of like stop for a moment as the intensity of that encounter, brief but very violent, kind of fades. What do you do?
Nethra's gonna roll out from underneath the other side of the tank, and she's gonna come up and like look at Remsaw and go, "All right, I'm claiming we burn this one. This we get to burn on fire. Lots of fire."
Yeah.
All right. Can I ask you to deal with that? Because I'm gonna get this working, and then we won't have to be quite so concerned with possibly dying again.
Yeah, before you do that, you're gonna sit down and I'm gonna look at where that thing hit you, because I'm seeing blood.
Not actually a lot, though. I think I broke my nose again.
Can I roll a heal check?
I would like to aid since I have that skill now.
Yeah.
All right. Eldar, roll to aid. Roll your aid roll. And
That is a 2.
ooh, a 2.
I will take that because it was an 89, so now it's a 29.
Okay. So, how does that go?
I believe Aldar's probably giving her pointers about dwarven physiology as we go, but I'm not sure where Nethra was hurt. So, general patching and bandaging and such.
Yeah, I'm only lightly wounded.
Right, but that should still pop you back up. So that
Yeah, so it's unwound. So it'd be all the way back up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes, you can move a wound. A patching can for lightly wounded can move you back up.
Yeah. So I
one.
think it's literally like because she was underneath and the tail came around to hit her and she couldn't dodge out of the way. It literally hit her in the face and broke her nose again.
Dwarven noses are a bit more stealth than you're used to. You're going to have to put a bit of oomph into setting it right.
All right. Well, and Gisela puts a bit of oomph into it, and
That crack noise. Oh,
If I may add that, like, Gisela's reaching, getting ready to crack it back into place, and Eldar says that, and she like looks and goes, "Okay," and just smacks Nethra in the face, and there's just this loud crack as the nose is reset.
all right. And while we're doing this, can I see that Remshaw is shaken?
Yes, not to
Wow.
speak for Billy, but Remshaw, how is
Can I see that
Remshaw doing?
Remshaw is shaken?
He's his hands are shaking and he's fumbling around his body for things that look like they could start fire, and he has, for some reason, a feather and dirt, and he's trying to, in his brain, through the panic, like, this'll, you're gonna.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to let you set anything on fire right now. Gisela looks around. I'm like, I don't think we're going to get a safe rest for a little bit. So she pulls out a little bottle of white powder from her bag and hands it to you and is like, I now consider this to be an emergency situation, and hands it to you. I'll take care of disposal of the body.
Thank you.
Does Remshaw smell it?
Yeah.
Okay. That is smelling salts. You get to go up 1 level on your peril, but you take 1 corruption for it.
You may mark a level of corruption. How does Remshaw react when being hit with smelling salts unexpectedly?
You see through his armor, his muscles tense up, and then his brow furrows, and you kind of like his teeth snarl. You see like a tusk coming through, and you witness like a flash of savagery. Savagery? Yeah, that's how you say it. and like a primal essence like manifests. So it's like, oh, okay, all right. And then yeah, so thank you for that.
Yep. Then I'm gonna go dispose of a body.
The body burns with a strange greenish blue light when you set it aflame. The smell is horrifying. It twitches in strange ways as you do that. You see the wounds, even though the creature's clearly dead, the wounds still want to reach towards each other and recombine. And as you burn, the skeleton contracts and it moves almost as if it's alive for half a moment in a way that makes, at the very least, Aldar like grab your weapon again until you realize it's just the popping of tendons. And it lays still, a charred mass of mixed blackened bones.
Aldar is suspicious enough. He's going to just stomp on the bones at this point. Once it happens. No, you fuckers don't get to animate that. Nope.
Now, there's the matter of the tank. Nethra.
Nethra promised Gisa that this would be ready in a day, which means she's not going to focus on the big gun yet. She's just going to get everything needed to move the actual tank out of this briar patch.
All right, so the essence of this tank. It is a metal front passenger container with a wooden rear that contains essentially a steam engine mounted on a small, like with wooden metal enforced wheels on the rear. Roll me a quick
Tradecraft, or
this is just to like assess what needs to be done here.
Yeah.
I would say this could still be a tradecraft roll to just get the lay of the tank. What's going on here? What do you need to do?
Yep. So that is a... Sorry, I can't math right now. Why is this so hard? That is a 34 under 47, which was good. I
Okay,
almost failed that one.
That is sufficient. All right, so real quick, looking over this, there is some basic engine damage here. That is what probably left this in the rut. There are a few damaged pieces to the steam engine, specifically the parts that contain the steam into a pressurized system to make the actual engine work. You have some thoughts about how that could be patched. In addition, it just generally has a lot of weather damage over time from having sat in this spot for about over a decade at this point. There is a whole vehicle section of the rules. Really quickly, mechanically, what we're going to do is you will have some time to tinker with this. I have created a steam tank stat block, and I've given it basically almost every negative trait that it could have right now in there. And you could remove those negative traits by working on it. Currently, they're removable. It has the trait cantankerous, which means it cannot make a 180-degree turn on a dime. You're never going to remove that. It's a tank. It can't do that.
You don't,
however,
you don't drive a tank for its maneuverability.
Precisely. I did give it has the armored category, so anyone in it is going to be, if you like seal the hatch on this, anyone inside it gains the maximum cover value from attacks possible, a +9 to your damage threshold. And really honestly can't be targeted by anything but called range shots trying to fit through like the spots. If you're riding with the top open, you still get cover. The things you can get rid of is Bellows Top, which it has an extra chance of having a mishap when it takes damage. There's Circus Minimus, which it cannot swerve or maneuver whatsoever. It also has the Leaky, which makes it take more AP to stop when you're fighting it in combat. And there's also Rickety, which it suffers extra damage when it takes damage. If you roll really well, you, in addition to removing a negative trait, could add a positive trait. The 2 positive traits that you could add would be Bat Out of Hell, which means it accelerates for less AP, or Spiked Wheels, where it does more damage when you run it into stuff. I saw your eyes light up for that one. I, by the way, have given it the ability to accelerate once it's already moving. It has that already. So it has some good traits too.
I know when we talked last week, we set this up was that we could fit everyone in the tank, probably the dwarfs in one of the dwarfs firing, one driving, plus Gisela, and then maybe shoving Remsa on the top. Is that still true?
Remsa would not fit in this tank, but everyone else would fit uncomfortably since we have 2 dwarves in the tank. For the record, there are some newer models that you all have seen that have a turret on top with an extra gun. This is not one of those. This is an older model from past decades. It has a cannon inset to it that can be mildly adjusted to fire, and then what looks like a ring mount for like a smaller personal weapon, like rifle-sized weapon, but the rifle was removed from the ring mount. Though Nethra, you think without a lot of work, you could probably fit one of your repeating handguns on that.
I has a plan to give our ogre friend a new gun mount.
So, in addition to that, the rest of you would probably, the path that this took down has become overgrown and would be very difficult to pull this out. So either a path needs to be cut, or somebody needs to set up a pulley system or carve a little road for it to get out of this little ravine that it's found itself stuck in.
It's shovel time.
This is simply the most NCO thing you could have said, Eldar. Like, of all the things a sergeant could say, just like, it's shovel time.
Just for shits, I want to try to lift it out, just see what happens.
This thing is several tons. It really, I would give you the ability when it's time to like move this thing, since you are extremely strong, to like move it onto a path or something that you did it like with a shove.
Right.
Lifting it is out of the question.
Okay.
A giant might have a chance to lift this thing, but even then it would take both hands. It's got some girth and some weight to it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's dig. Let's shovel.
Do we have shovels?
I do.
I have one.
I got my mitts.
I do not have a shovel, nor do I have a sword. She pulls up this little dagger, and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna really clear much.
Nethra reaches into her bag and pulls out the 2-piece collapsible shovel. It's like, here you go.
Gisela turns and hands it to Remshaw.
Remshaw holding the shovel looks like an adult holding a little like gardening spade made for a toddler.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, I mean, I guess I could use it if it wouldn't be helpful to you.
What What you can do, Gisela, if you don't feel like shoveling, take a look at the brush ahead. See how wet or dry it is. If it's dry enough, after we're done, whilst we're clearing two paths, you can take the rest of this oil and we can do a controlled burn.
Sure. I will check to see if that is something that seems feasible without setting the forest on fire.
So let's start with oh no, never mind. I just saw. Let's start with Gisela checking the foliage. Gisela, oh man, what would this check even be?
Survival or
Yeah, this would probably be. I think
I'm like-
survival would be the most appropriate.
I don't know, but whatever it is, Gisela's not going to be good at it.
That's fine.
And survival actually is perfect because I don't have any training in that. So 80. So nope.
Nope. There's a forest up here. It's a lot of forest, and like frankly, it all kind of looks the same level of impassable, and you're not really sure where the oil would go. And you are reticent to start a fire that could engulf the entire ravine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just going to go back and tell Aldar it doesn't look like it's something that would make sense to burn.
Okay, well, it
just
makes
rained a
sense. We
lot.
did have a number of rains, so it's going to be a pain. Fair
It
enough.
did rain a lot.
I was hopeful.
Can I look and see if there are any like big ditches or anything that look like they're going to be problematic?
Oh, you want to like survey the land like after you get out of the valley for a path out?
Yeah, let's do that.
Roll me one more survival check, and then that'll be our extent of it.
Okay. No, that's a crit fail. That's a 66 over a 46.
No, you have a really good path. You found a really good path. You're quite sure of it.
Excellent.
Nethra. So Nethra, I want to be clear about this. You want to get this going as quick as possible.
I promised Gisela I wouldn't take the extra time. It could only have one day.
All right.
I can clean the gun on the road.
I'm going to give you 2 tradecraft rolls for every. So first of all, you are going to get this thing working again. This thing will get working. That's a baseline assumption. For every 2 success levels you get, you may either remove a negative trait or add a positive trait.
So I should tell you that I have, as an engineer, I have a special effect.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to flipping to succeed on tradecraft tests, when I succeed, it always is considered a critical success.
Okay. So if you succeed, I will let you, if you don't have 2 success levels, you can remove or add something. And built-in baseline, I was assuming you succeeded because you're an engineer. Like this thing's going to run no matter what.
Okay.
And it's really more of just how, like, what do you roll and how good does it get?
Yep. Tradecraft. So that's a 13 under a 47.
Okay. So you're going to get to remove 2. All right. So you get 2 sets. 13 is 1. 1, 2. It's, well, hold on. Math.
13 under 47 is.
That's
so,
3 success levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you get to remove 1. And I'll give you for your crit success factor, I'll give you an extra 1. I'll give you an extra plus 10. So you may remove so to go back over. It has bellows top, which is you roll an extra d6 when you're determining if something goes wrong with this thing. Circus minimus, it cannot maneuver basically. You can't swerve to avoid damage. Leaky, which is you have to spend extra AP to stop when it's really rolling. You have to actually spend more AP than you have. You have to burn a fortune point to stop.
So I'm gonna. She's gonna concentrate on what is immediately emergence, which is the top one where it's
Mhm.
it could
Alright.
where you could extra things could go wrong, and then the
Deleting that?
one that's rickety because you
Rickety.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, this is whenever you suffer damage, you move
Yeah.
an additional 1 step down the damage track.
Yeah, get rid
So
of the
we're
thing
getting
that would
rid of
cause. Get rid of the thing that caused extra damage. Get rid of the thing that could cause additional
You-
damage.
Extra problems.
Extra problems.
It-
Then I can work on everything else as we go. But those are the first two to go.
So Nethra, if I may,
Mhm.
you spend some time binding up as with whatever you can the pressure system to get the engine working again, and then you just spend a solid couple hours going around tightening every single rivet, cleaning out any sort of debris or thing that you can to just get everything locked down as much as you can. You may now roll me your second trade craft roll.
Second tradecraft. That's a 9.
All right, so
I had to stop and double check and see which side the dot
you
was.
get another 2. You may add positive effects or remove negative effects. Your negative effects that still remain are leaky. It's going to be real hard to stop this thing. Or Circus Minimus. This vehicle cannot swerve, which is essentially its dodge. It cannot use the dodge.
Okay. I'm gonna
And
get,
then the positives are bat out of hell. It accelerates really fast. Or spiked wheels. It does extra damage when you go into melee with this thing.
so I'm going to get rid of the leaky.
All right. Leaky is gone.
I'm going to ask. She would, as she's doing this, shout over her shoulder to Aldar. It's like, do you want to stop or do you want it to roll over people real well?
Stop, please.
Oh, can't I ram them just a couple times?
Stopping is important when you know there are people that can use magic.
Rumsaw agrees with me.
As a quick note, by getting rid of the leaky thing, you already solved the stopping problem. It's the dodging problem.
Yeah, oh, sorry, that's what I meant. The dodging
Yeah.
problem. Goes,
Yeah.
I would like to be able to get out of the way of things at speed.
well, can't I just run them over?
When the thing that you're running over is a wyvern, it's not going to end well for the wyvern or us.
Fine. I'll fix it later. Rumsaw, I'm gonna give you an even bigger gun. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll get rid of the other.
All right, so it loses Circus Minimus.
Yeah.
So after about a day of work, Nethra has, it's not shined, it's not polished. The gun still has an old the cannon coming out of it still has an old charge in it and will not fire. But
Oh, I would have taken the old charge out. I won't
yeah,
do
yeah,
the
yeah.
rest of it, but I'm gonna take the old charge out so that we don't
you spent some time
explode.
digging, you dug the old cannonball out and some of it. Oh, the gunpowder is about 11 years past being explosive as it has clumped and gotten wet and
Yeah,
just
I would like to point out, however, it can still be a serious hazard, which is why this is my PSA. If you come across unexploded ordnance from any military engagement that you have ever been involved, even if it is a civil war or revolutionary, don't touch it, call your whatever. Having grown up on military bases and a military base that had a civil war or ordnance that they had to shut down the Lower Manhattan to get the bomb squad onto Governor's Island to come out and blow up this unexploded ordnance.
This is an important message for your safety.
Exactly, it's very important.
Don't mess around with found ordnance. This is real. Now, so you have a steam tank which has a damage threshold of 15 towards the front and sides, 12 in back and above, If somehow something gets underneath it and can attack, it doesn't have much of a damage threshold at that point. You have the armored quality, which gives it additional, if you're in it, additional protection. It has the cantankerous, which means it cannot make quick bootleg turns. And it has Ghost Ride, which allows you to change speeds when you're actually already in motion for 1 less AP. It is a wonderful, it is, as it fires up to life and the smokestack in the back begins to put out steam and smoke from the fire, and the engine begins to warm up from fuel that you gathered from the nearby forest. It is a reassuring sound. Now, Aldar and Remshaw, roll me a quick, actually between the two of you. So Aldar digging with a shovel. Remshaw, I'm completely content that you look at the little shovel and toss it aside and just like Wreck-It Ralph it and just use your hands. How do you two want to, who would like to roll the toughness test to make the path out, and who would like to assist?
I'll take a ride on the toughness train.
And I will assist.
All right.
Okay. Ha ha ha! Finally.
3.
I got a 4 under 58.
Oh wow! So, Billy, Remshaw and Aldar's work. What does it look like? What do you two create to get yourself out of this little ravine?
You know when you're trying to dig a huge pit of sand on the beach, and your legs are just sumo squat stance, and you shoveling the sand behind you, and he starts in front of the tank and just starts doing that and shoving the dirt behind him until there's a huge pile. Then he'll back up and do it all again with that pile, forming a huge pile, and then coasts off to the side so there's a clear straight path for the tank to go. And he's guided by the wise Aldar because he can't see in the behind of him. He doesn't have eyes in his butt unless there's something about Nogres I don't know about. A Chaos Ogre, maybe.
Mm.
I mean,
that's more lore about Chaos Ogres than I wanted to get into, but
yeah, he becomes the tool and Aldar becomes the operator.
As all right, as Remshaw completes what is a surprisingly well-made earthen ramp out of this ravine. Nethra, will you please tell us what the moment of the steam tank starting up is like?
I think so. Nethra has been, you've been hearing the banging and the cursing, and I think at this point Gisela has now had an expansive education in dwarven cursing, beginning with the basic stuff and then getting into stuff like ancestors hate twisted nose hairs, and getting even weirder afterwards. And then she from underneath, she's like, all right, I need everybody to step back 15 feet because it's gonna go now, please. Don't want to stand there. You're doop 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 doop. And she's gonna light it, and it's gonna take a minute, and it's not working, and so she's going to fall back on the tried and true method of every engineer ever and hit it they hit the engine as hard as it possibly can with a wrench, and you just go poof. When you have the backflash of all, if you were standing directly behind it, it would have covered you in soot, and you would have been just one of those memes. But instead, she warned everybody to get out of the way. I was like, all right, now it's working.
I'm totally here for like the longest day moment where just the Scottish general just hits the tank and it starts working. Like,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. As everything just starts up and there's this beat and then just now, as we have our Anakin it's working moment, a full day has passed as it's very clearly getting on towards night. The engine is up and running. What would you all like to do as you are down in this ravine? How do you want to proceed?
Go. Just go as quick as we can.
Can we drive this thing through the night?
I can.
I'll drive it during the day.
We're not all gonna fit in it.
No.
No.
Remso can sit on top. It'll hold him.
Okay. Gisla's out of arguments at this point. She's just gonna go with it.
See,
She
your
thinks
god
this
has
is
a
an
big. Your god put a big sign on it that says his.
Someone else put that sign on it, and they put it on a lot of things, but we will hope it helps.
Can Tom, I know that it's not an actual gun mount, but could she have, in the course of like this general day, have just done a stick rest, or you know, like, all right, Rebsai, we're gonna mount. I'll get you an actual mount later to put the gun in, but this way you have an actual rest the gun here, and she'll like show you how to rest. Use like the stick that she's attached to the top in what would have been the turret location. As a
there's like a little like just a little like swiveling mount that you could attach like it to. Yeah, you could stick it to that. Honestly, you don't even need to get a stick mount. You could figure it like the attachment to that wouldn't have taken you very long. So like there's a little round.
It's not pretty, but it works.
There's a hatch at the top, and when you open it, there's this little swivel for like you could put a gun on it. There isn't an additional like a larger firearm on a turret there.
Yeah. But...
inside there is a gunner station, a pilot station, and then a little bit of space in the back. And the little bit in space in the back is where Gisela kind of like crunches up into. Your armor making it not the most comfortable ride you've ever had, Gisela.
Yeah.
It is also slightly reassuring to be off your feet. I don't know. How comfortable is Gisela traveling in a unconventional fashion like this? Has Gisela ever traveled in anything other than by your own power or by the power of a horse?
No. Has rode in wagons, has ridden horses, has not done steam tanks or even large boats. So does not like this at all. Was trying to figure out a way she could say she was going to walk next to it, but it's late at night and clearly can't do that forever. So we'll probably try to do that tomorrow sometime so that she's not in this chair forever, because we're not moving fast.
Who is taking the pilot station for the first leg of our little journey here?
I think we figured out that mechanically I would give direction to Aldar, because I have the coordination and drive, but I don't have pilot, and you took pilot, didn't you?
Drive in this system, looking at the vehicle rules, drive is for anything relying on animal power, and pilot is for anything that works on mechanical power.
But if we're going to do it overnight, Aldar can't do it the whole time.
Can't see.
Yeah, I'm the one who can see in the
Also
dark.
needs to sleep.
So, how do you all want to handle this? Do you want to set out this night, or do you want to wait for the darkness to pass?
Or do we want to move it out of the thicket
Mm-hmm.
a little
I-
ways closer and then rest?
Let's get it out of its current hole and then let it idle.
All right. So if we're going to do a quick, let's get it out of the ravine, but not go very far. Nethra, you may roll an assist since you can see in the dark.
Mhm.
Eldar, you may roll pilot since you can drive it. However, Eldar, you are going to take a -20 since you can't see in the dark and you're being guided by somebody else.
I rolled a 7, so I think we're good.
I think you're on.
That's good because I rolled an 8 for my assist, and I didn't think you would want that.
No.
Eldar, what does you piloting this up that earthen ramp look like?
Okay, haven't used one of these in about a decade. So, and it's a lot of pulling levers, slamming like foot on pedals,
Mhm.
making sure that pressure is there, and if not, apply more. As it is a full body workout to get this thing moving. But move it does, and when it goes, it picks up speed and goes.
I think one of the things she would have done as part of like the general getting this ready to go is she would have made the tiny adjustments necessary to have a dwarf pilot versus, a human or an elf. Extend the pedals.
It actually appears to have some adjustments built specifically for that. Like it's just a couple like quick, you pull out a pin, you extend it, you pop a pin back in, made with variable pilots in mind. As Aldar, you bring this up, you start guiding it just outside of the ravine. There is the large thump as you hit an unseen pothole that on the path that Gisela picked out. It doesn't sink too far as you are able to then guide yourself away from it and you find an adequate parking space for the night.
All right, that's about as good as it gets in a tank. We're going to have more of those. I will try to avoid them when I can see.
So you now are going to spend the night right here next to the ravine. All right. Before any of you, all right. So first of all, is there anything any of you want to do before you spend the night here?
I mean, I like a general perimeter watching status, but I'm not gonna let the engine go all the way dead, so it'll provide at least a little heat at night.
Okay.
Because you don't want to cold start this thing.
May I interpret that as Nethra taking the first watch?
Sure.
Then, okay. Since you want to take a perimeter and like watch the engine. Okay. Roll me a quick awareness test.
So that's a big old no.
You end up having to spend more of your time tending the fire of the steam tank than you anticipate. You end up feeling like you reach a point in which it's going to keep for most of the night pretty easily, and then you realize you've spent significantly longer doing this than you intended to. And when you walk outside, everything seems fine. Your friends are sleeping unabated. They are all in one piece. No parts of them that are supposed to be inside or outside. And the path seems quite peaceful.
All right. And then she'll like lean over and poke Remsaw.
Mhm.
Your watch. And she's gonna curl up in the gunner's hole inside the tank.
Okay. And then Ramsel will get up and do his watch.
Remshaw, do you do anything with during your watch? How does Remshaw take your watch in what is likely the darkest part of the night?
Trying to figure out how the gun is going to work in combat now that he's got, I believe, one of those rifles.
Mm-hmm.
Like standing on top of the tank, and then like, he's got his like knuckle dusters on one hand and trying to figure out like practicing combos, things like that.
What does that look like?
Not smooth.
Just-
Very clunky, very methodical, very like he'll pretend to fire a gun and then he'll slowly step to the side and then try to throw a punch, and then it's like, oh no, that doesn't feel right. And he, just to see if it feels better, which it does, he'll take foolishly grab the barrel end of the gun and use it as a club, and then throw a punch. He's like, yeah, it feels way better.
Who do you wake when your watch ends?
Aldar. He wakes Aldar because Gisela and the gods have a relationship, and he's afraid. And Aldar uses words good. Watch.
I got it. You get some rest.
Okay. And then he'll like curl up out like underneath the barrel of the tank, like on the tank, like half of his body's like hanging off of the tank because he's a big boy.
I just imagine Remshaw sleeping with like the arm draped over the side of the tank, like it's the edge of the bed. Aldar, how do you pass your hours in the wee dark hours of the morning?
It's a regular circuit of starting with putting more tinder into the engine, getting out, moving about as he does, gather more tinder, keep an eye peeled, and then back in. It's just circling this area. Either once the fuel thing is actually like good, it's just gathering more tinder for the drive as circling and circling.
As Eldar continues to circle and gather, the gray light that is dawn at this depth in the woods begins to peek through. And as the new day of your tank travels begins, I think that's where we'll go to break and return quickly. Or we'll turn back for your journeying in your new vehicle.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, everybody. So take this opportunity, stretch, bio, do all those good things. See you in a few minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We hope you're refreshed, ready. Nethra has a tank that works. Life is good. Life is good.
Yes, the fire kept going during the night. As Nethra took extra time to maintain and keep the engine going. So you didn't have to cold start it the next morning, which was a good call. Gisela, the rest of the group, as your obvious favor by Sigmar has staked you out as a particular person of interest, you got a full night's rest. Was there anything, since you weren't doing watch, was there anything you wanted to do with some of the extra time you had on your hands? Both either in the evening beforehand or in the morning before you set out.
Gisela would have spent some time cleaning the emblem of Sigmar that's on the side of the tank. Because it seemed like a thing to do. And then probably in the morning when the light was better, she would have she's started trying to read more of her prayer books and her information that she has, because she had found some mentions of Sigmar and having fought the undead previously, so she's trying to find some more information in the backs of her books, things that maybe she didn't know before.
I don't remember off the top of my head when I made you roll for this previously. Education, I would assume.
I don't think it was, because I don't have stat in education.
Maybe folklore.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm open
possibly
to your
folklore.
interpretation. What are you hoping to gain out of this other, or are you hoping to just say that this is what Gisela's doing and you're not looking for anything in particular?
I mean, it's definitely what she's doing. But she is looking for comfort, I guess. A little bit of information if it's there. She talked to Aldar and that helped, but like she's trying to find a meaning in her religious texts that she's missing.
I would say just make me an intelligence roll then.
Okay.
As you read over the text and you look for meaning, inspiration, context.
That's a 19 under a 46. So it's really good that it wasn't an education roll, because I would have had to flip to fail that. But just if it's straight intelligence, it's a 19.
It's a 19. They're honestly still in the text of Sigmar, not overly much about undeath, as very early, I mean, in his days, undeath was purged from the world. He had a role in it, but it was a minor role. Yes, he confronted one of the great necromancers. Yes, he stopped one of the necromantic hosts from moving this north. However, other southern empires, they bore the brunt of defeating the Nekharans and their undead empire as they fell into necromantic practices. Their lich priests looking to extend their lives and their power. The Breath of Sigmar only covers very little of this. However, I don't want to speak for Gisela. there is some comfort to be drawn in the fact yet again that this was a menace that the world, not Sigmar, not a god alone, he was still yet to be deified. He was a great individual, but he was an individual. He did not do this by himself. The world defeated this threat. A much greater version of this threat, a much more developed, a much more led, a much more organized, a much larger host of this threat was dispatched, thrown down, buried, and sealed away for thousands of years, to the point where those who wrote these holy texts found them almost unworthy as mentioning in the foes that Sigmar defeated.
Okay. I guess she's gonna read that and sit with that for a little bit.
The tank engine has fired up. Everyone is awake. What would you all like?
Get on the road. Go, go, go.
Who's driving?
I
Well, it is a gray light, but it is a light you can see. Please roll me a pilot check.
7.
The going is slow at first. You weave your way through the forest. Eldar, you're driving this boat. Are you how are you moving through the forest, or are you going to go out of the forest to the road?
We're going out of the forest onto the road. I don't want to undo all of Nethra's work. And also I want to spare Gisela's spine.
Gisela's walking as long as she can, keep up with the tank. That's not a comfortable place to sit.
Actually, Gisela, you probably would be able to walk for a little bit. What's your speed?
Her speed is, so my movement is an 8.
Okay. Would you would be jogging along this thing for actually, as it's moving through the forest and having to weave, you would be able to keep pace with it in the early going. And Remshaw, would you be riding on top of it in these early going, or would you be walking alongside it?
Riding on top.
Riding on top.
Yeah, with the knowledge that when we get on the road and get a clearer path, she's going to need to start riding. She's going to try to take as much time to not be in the cramped quarters of this thing as possible and sort of just be walking.
Okay. As you're weaving and moving through, Eldar, you're making excellent time. It's not the maximum speed of this particular vehicle yet, as you're going through rough terrain and moving through. Gisela, you're able to keep a decent, like, abreast of it without working too hard.
Mhm.
As the forest begins to lighten out, Nethra, would you please make our navigation check to make sure that you all are headed in the optimal direction?
That's a 20 under 62.
Yeah, it's really optimal. As the forest begins to thin out and you start making your way back, Gisela, you are finding yourself having to quicken your pace. You're
All
moving
right.
towards a jog. Are you going to hop on, or are you going to jog next to it for a while?
No, I'm gonna hop on because jogging in heavy armor is
That's
probably not
the
ideal.
case. So, how do you wait? Do you ask them to stop? Do you like, what do you do to get on board?
No, she's gonna sort of jog up next to it and ask Rumshaw to like pull her up and then sit next to him if there's space.
We'll scooch over on top of the tank.
I'm Rumshaw does like the forearm clasp catch and just like whips Gisela up like she's a small child, and you just like plop her next to you, and the two of you sit on top of this tank as it pops and cracks the engine and begins to move out of the forest as the forest lightens. You have several hours of daytime travel where time passes very easily as you begin moving out of the forest into the light forest and out towards the road. Would anybody like to do anything during this travel time?
Nethra is going to take advantage of the travel time and having both Gisela and Remsaw on the tank to suspend herself from the gun of the tank and clean out the gun. Because she promised to do that and not hold people up.
I like this quite a bit. All right, so Nethra, how are you envisioning this working?
Well, it's an extension out from the main portion of the gun, so she probably, like, actually, she's small enough that, and she's probably done this, like, once or twice, that she fits through the hole for the gun port, comes around the side, and she's rigged a rope around her waist and around the edge of the barrel of the cannon, and to shimmy out to the end of the cannon, and is suspended and tied to the cannon while she's cleaning it out from the inside. Something that is not recommended, but you can actually watch videos of people doing on sail vessels and have done before. Not recommended, but
sorry, what role would Gisela and Remshaw be playing in this?
more just it's she can't look around while she's doing this, right? Like, but she's got Remsaw and Gisela who are on visual. Like, she's looking behind herself, she's looking at the gun, she's looking at everything but around her.
Okay.
I'm also assuming we're doing counterweight a little bit. If you're out hanging off the front, scoot back and make sure we balance slightly.
I mean, I figure possibly, but I also figure the weight of the end, like, just Remsaw's existence on the engine is gonna be a lot of counterweight for the tiny dwarf. But I love this image.
Roll me a tradecraft -10 because of the precarious position you find yourself in to clean out the barrel.
That's fair. So I can flip to succeed, which is good. So I end up with a 24 under a 37.
You feel like you have done a passably good job of cleaning out the barrel. It's not loaded, but you feel like it could be loaded if you needed to. And because, as mentioned to me, it really makes no sense for this armored tank to exist if you have to muzzle load it. You could load, there is a breech loading method for this, as if it really doesn't make sense for you to get out of the armored tank and breech load this cannon. But you have successfully cleaned the barrel, and you feel that
we won't explode. We won't explode if I fire it.
However, you currently have no charges for the barrel.
I have a bunch of grenades.
If you want to jury rig something, you are more than welcome to. Whoever left this tank there took all of the ammunition with them.
I mean, I have a bunch of cast iron grenades.
So while Nethra is cleaning the barrel and Aldar is driving, yeah,
No, this is in my mind. This is World War One tanking. This sucks.
Yeah. What is Gisela and Remshaw doing?
So Gisela would start trying to do like a how are you doing? How are you holding up thing? I don't know if previously Remshaw has not been open to those conversations, and if that was still the case, Gisela would stop after a few minutes and respect that, but
simply, but you can tell that there's a general fear of something about you, and you could tell with your social intuition there's like a layer of politeness, like, oh, we're here surviving together, but there's elements of that he holds you in like awe, and there's things she does like cannot explain, and I'm not gonna get on her bad side. And then he'll politely ask you like, oh, how are you?
you realize I'm not going to bite, right?
Bite what?
You, I'm not going to bite you.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. I don't bite either. Well, most of the time.
No, I didn't think you would.
Sometimes I get really hungry though. Look out! Ha, ha, ha.
I think we have other things for you to eat.